Guys, I'm Nate. Welcome to my workshop. This video is going to be a tour of the workshop showing you what I've gotten here and what we use it for. The whole workshop is sort of a long, skinny room, so we're going to go down one side, come back, and just take a look at everything along the way, and then everything we got in the middle. I don't know. It's a workshop, it's a tour. Here's how it goes. Starting over here, we've got a nice tall workbench. It's tall enough that I can be working on stuff while I'm standing up, or if I want a chair, I have a fairly high, like a bar stool type chair. It's got a steel top to it, which means that I don't have to worry about accidentally gouging holes or gashes into it. It's pretty nice, although it is, of course, a little susceptible to things like chemicals. We've got some rust spots starting to form. Lots of storage for all sorts of tools, bits and bobs, everything that we're gonna need. Little tool storage right here, just a lot of stuff. Bench vise that's nice and solidly attached to the bench, right on top of a support post, of course, so it's got lots of strength to it. And a little detail, we made sure to bring in the sides of the bench so that they aren't sticking out perfectly straight. And that's so when I come in this door, I don't bump my hip on it. It just gives me a little bit of play as I'm going around corners too fast for my own good. I got some PPE up here. We've got goggles and breathing masks. Respirators, that's the word. Respirators, stuff like that. Yeah, moving on. We've got 3 doors. They all lead to the same place, a hallway. Got a whole jumpsuit here for if I'm wearing clothes that I don't want to get dirty while I'm working on stuff. Now over here we're into the tools. I do want to just point out really quick, we'll see this more as we go around, but we've got like the same color of blue on a lot of stuff, and that's not an accident. I painted all of those. There's not one brand that we're just being really loyal to. These are several different brands that I just painted because I wanted a uniform look in here. So we've got polishing wheel right here. This is a metal bandsaw. The whole thing is on a French cleat system, so I can take the bandsaw off of the brace and I can take the brace off the wall, lower it down if I have to do a lot of cutting and want better access to it. We start having belts. They go with the more belts over here, and all of that goes on the main belt grinder. This is a 2x72 belt grinder. That's the size of the belt. It's 2 inches wide and 72 inches long, and all these are just different grits. So if we want to like really take off a lot of metal while we're making a knife, we use the low 36 grit. If we're trying to do like a nice polished finish, we go for a much higher grit. We have up to like 2200 grit, I think. Don't get a lot of use of that one. We currently have pretty much nothing happening over here. We're going to eventually have some metal storage over here so that we can stop storing it under this bench because we keep bumping into it. My shins are scratched and cut from running into this over here. We do have a piece of tube running past that is for sawdust gathering. We have a vacuum down underneath this workbench, and that's all connected to a few different hoses, go into a few different tools. Just keep all the dust and sawdust in one place as much as possible. Sink in this corner. This thing is my best friend. I'm so glad we got a sink in the workshop because without it, everything would just be harder. It's so much nicer to just have this here. Hot and cold running water. We've also got a saline eye wash set up. We've got some soap, a towel, cup dispenser just in case. Coming up around, we've got more storage shelves going along the ceiling here. Plenty of space for stuff. This is the largest bandsaw in the shop. It's a Grizzly brand, which is not the most expensive brand, but it works pretty well. Like, I'm actually quite happy with how this thing performs. We've got a drill press over here. We use this all the time. Super important for knives and handles and everything you want to do with it. So yeah, drill press. We have, what is this called again? Disc grinder. This is a disc grinder or sander. It uses these large sanding wheels. They just stick on, they're sticky, and then it's spinning, so you get really flat surfaces when this is spinning. You grind something against it. We actually have 2 of these. We have this one, and we have a variable speed one that is kind of down here. Both are good. Good to have options. Another bandsaw. This one's just for a little small detail work. Never have too many bandsaws, really. Got some storage of some handle material right here. This is the kiln or furnace or whatever you want to call it. This is where we do the heating of the metal. Now, When I say heating of the metal, we're not forging. We don't stick it in here, pull it out, and hammer on it. We're doing stock removal. This is for the heat treatment and tempering of the metal. So pretty much anything up to about 18 inches is an option, fully programmable. Got this board behind it. This is a piece of drywall with a sheet of aluminum on it. This is just for heat protection. Turns out it's actually not terribly necessary. We didn't really need this here, but I'm glad it's here anyway, because, you know, better safe than sorry. More storage, and then along with the kiln for the heat treating is we have this. This is 2 very thick aluminum plates in a bench vise, a quick release bench vise, which means I can very quickly close it down, which is really nice when you're heat treating stainless steel. This thing works great. We did build this custom box to hold it up and cut a hole in this workbench so that we have space for it to operate correctly, but it works super well. Very happy with it. Storage cabinets. Eventually right here, I'm planning to put a paint booth, like a spray painting booth. Haven't built that yet. Yeah, storage. We've got a lot more handle materials over here. Some of the composites. We've got micarta, camel bone, G10. We've got some wood pieces, all of this. Yeah, just good options for making some cool handles. This right here is a hardness tester, HRC hardness tester. It's for the Rockwell hardness scale, and this is how we know if our knives are properly heat treated. Break area, we've got a refrigerator with some snacks and what is frankly an oversized television for this size of area, because we can only sit about 8 feet away from it on our little couch here. Feels great though. Sit back, and then we have our stereo, which actually is running into surround sound. We have 6 speakers going around the studio. We've got 2 here, 2 about in the middle of the room, and 2 all the way at the back, sitting on little shelves. Another workbench area, which is not terribly organized. We just kind of have some stuff on it that we didn't have a better place for. And then right here we've got yet another workbench. Can never have too many workbenches. This is our hand sanding area. So this is a flat bar. You clamp your knife to it and you can hand sand the blade. And then when you're working on the handle, the knife goes into this vise, and then you can turn this around whatever direction, angle you want to, and work on the handle of the knife without having to hold onto the blade. Running down the middle of the room, we've got 3 of these carts, and the design is basically borrowed from Bob at I Like to Make Stuff, who, if you don't know, is an excellent maker. You should go check him out. Rolling desks that all fit together. We've got marks on a few of these that tell us where to line them up, so that if we want, we can take these 3 as well as that one in the corner, and we can turn them into one super workbench that's 4 feet by 8 feet. We don't really do that, but we have the ability to, should we need. So yeah, these are great. They're in the middle of the room, but they are all on wheels, so if we wanted to take them so they're not in the middle of the room, easy to do. As you can see, they're full of storage. This one also has a filter built into it. I've just got a fan blowing in on one side, and then 2 replaceable air filters on the sides of that. This one's got boxes full of tools. And this one, we put a pegboard with lots of pegboard attachments to it, holding even more tools. So I really like this turned out great. It's very useful, and you can still use all of the storage underneath it. Clamps, spring clamps on this one, bar clamps? I don't remember what you call these. Other kind of clamps attached here. We should probably get more of those because you can never have too many of those. We've got a few knife jig pieces just resting on this workbench right now. And that's basically the stuff in here. There's a couple other cool features we have. For instance, all of the lighting is on sliders, so we can have it really dim or really bright. We've got the lighting divided up into 3 zones, back, middle, front, and we also have just an unholy amount of outlets in this room. This room was nothing but studs when we started out, and in fact, it didn't even have all the studs. It had studs on 1 wall, and we added studs to 3 more walls. We did all the drywall. Thank you to Jared and Jared's dad for helping us do the drywalling on the ceiling, and to our friend Eric for helping us do all the rest of the drywall and the finishing that we didn't really know how to do very well. We've got French cleats on a lot of the walls. That's this clever little system where you've got angled pieces that hit angled track on the wall, which means it hangs on really nicely, and then you can just move it to wherever you want. So like all of these things are just on French cleats. We really do have a lot of outlets. We've got like 40, 50 outlets throughout the whole room at varying heights, and they're on 5 different circuits in the circuit breaker, and they are all labeled to which circuit in the circuit breaker they're on. So if anything does blow a circuit, we know exactly which one it is and what other outlets on that same circuit are not working. It's very convenient. Oh, and we have some in the ceiling. Haha. Outlets. We never need extension cords. So that is the workshop. This is where we make knives, and I'm definitely going to be doing some knife making videos for you guys in the future. So be sure to come back, like and subscribe, all that stuff, so you know when that's happening. I don't have a very planned release schedule yet on any of that, so you're just going to have to stay up to date. And just one other thing, when I say we, it's mostly because I built this workshop out with my friend Keith. Keith, introduce yourself. There it is.
Hello.
That's Keith. He helped me build the workshop, and he also makes knives here in the workshop, because we both like making knives. So yeah, when I'm saying we do this, it's because he is also using these tools and helping set them up. In fact, a lot of the tools in here belong to him. He just lets me keep them here because I've got this nice workshop thing.
Don't you forget it.
That's the workshop, guys. If there's anything I didn't cover and you're like, wait, what was that thing? You didn't explain that at all. Just let me know down in the comments and I can answer and tell you what it was. Or we'll make a new video on that later. Cool? Cool. I know, I intentionally was like, oh, I have a shirt that's really close to the color. It's a little too green, but it's close.